Rick?
Roy Moore is now formally appealing his Senate election defeat to Doug Jones. Moore is now going to court to try and stop the state from certifying Jones as the winner, claiming possible voter fraud and demanding an investigation. Moore saying in a statement, quote, "This is not a Republican or Democrat issue, as election integrity should matter to everyone. We call on Secretary of State Merrill to delay certification until there is a thorough investigation of what 3 independent election experts agree took place. Election fraud sufficient to overturn the outcome of the election." Liz Harrington is a staff writer at the Washington Free Beacon. Roy Moore will not go away.
No, he certainly won't. This is his last-ditch effort, the only card he really has left to play, because he lost by over 21,000 votes, 1.5 percentage points, not nearly close enough to trigger an automatic recount, which he would have needed to come in about a half percentage point. He needed to raise $1 million to pay for a recount himself. He only raised about $70,000. So this is the only attempt he has. But as you said, Secretary of State John Merrill, who's a Republican who supported Roy Moore in his election, has said there's no evidence of voter fraud, and he's going to certify the election results today at 1 p.m.
Not according to Roy Moore. He says there are election integrity experts who say there's a reasonable degree of statistical and mathematical certainty election fraud occurred. They also say that the irregularities in 20 precincts alone could reverse the results.
Right, and he found 3 experts for this lawsuit that said that there was one in a billion chance that the likelihood that Jones would have won, which doesn't really stand the test of credibility here, because look, this is a guy, Roy Moore, who, when he ran in 2012, before these allegations came out against him, only beat a Democrat by 4 points in a very red state. So he's already had problems as a candidate. These allegations came out to allow a Democrat to win for the first time in 25 years in the Senate. So really, it's plain to see why he lost. Yeah. It's just Roy Moore is not willing to accept that.
Well, and as you pointed out, 21,000 votes is a lot to overcome, and that would be a lot of fraud.
Right, and I mean, this is a very red state. John Merrill is a Republican who supported Roy Moore. He's looked at this. He said there's no irregularity. It's just there were more Democrats that came out for Jones after Roy Moore was a very weak candidate with very credible allegations that came out against him.
Perhaps the even bigger headline from this is that his election complaint also includes an affidavit from Moore saying that he underwent a polygraph and confirmed that the allegations of sexual misconduct with underage girls are completely false. That was in his filing last night.
Right, and it's kind of interesting that he didn't do this earlier, only now that it's been a month after the election, that he lost, he was expected to win. He should have come out with this before, but now it's his own guy, it's his own lawsuit. He got this polygraph done. I mean, everyone can decide for themselves if they want to, believe the credibility of this polygraph. But of course he's going to include that because he's trying everything he can to get this reversed. But again, even if a judge ruled that the election, there was enough fraud to redo the special election, I don't think anyone believes that Roy Moore would win. He was a very weak candidate. He only beat a Democrat by 4 points when he ran previously in 2012. He was a very weak candidate, and all these allegations against him hurt him even more, and I think he would lose by even more if the election was reheld. Perhaps
that was the real reason for this filing, that he was trying a last-ditch effort to preserve his credibility.
Right.
And his reputation.
Right. I mean, that's the only thing he really has left at this point, because Secretary of State John Merrill is not going to, he's going to certify the results for Jones. So this is really his only attempt to clear his name and maybe possibly try to have a new election, but nobody believes that's going to happen.
The president already said earlier this month, President Trump said, that Moore should concede after his loss. He didn't do that then, and he's not doing it now.
Right, and I think Trump and the rest of the Republicans would rather Roy Moore just go away, but I think after this, the results are certified today, he will go away and there won't be much heard about Roy Moore.
We will see. Liz Harrington, staff writer at the Washington Free Beacon, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.